All right, new year, new you. Let's talk about starting your own handyman business, contracting business, whatever it is. Weekend warrior status. Let's get into starting your own business. And we're back, guys. All right, we're in my office. Let's get right down to it. It's going to be kind of a long video. Starting your handyman business or your contracting business, whatever you want to call it. This is the sure way, easy. You guys just pause the video as you need to. Go right through this, but this is what you're going to need to do to start it. Whether you're like me, where you want to just do like a weekend warrior thing starting out, or you just want to quit your day job and just go full tilt right into it. First thing you're going to want to do, since you've already decided you want to go in business for yourself, find yourself a name. Recommend you guys don't name it after yourself. So don't name it after, if you're Joe Smith or Sarah Smith, just don't be like Sarah Smith Handy Girl or Handyman Services. Just find a different name, because trust me, it's better for search engine optimization. Also, if you're going to sell a company down the road, you really don't want your actual personal name on there, because it makes it a little bit less valuable, if that makes sense. But other people smarter than me have told me not to name a business after myself, so that's why I'm regurgitating that to you guys. Absolutely, 150%. Don't name it after yourself. Now, you're going to basically want to go to your state. Obviously, we're in America here. Go to your local state. You're going to register as an LLC. You want to incorporate. I would not recommend going an S Corp right now. Just depends on what you're doing. But that's when you have higher earnings and you want to pay yourself a certain salary per month, bi-monthly or whatnot. And absolutely get yourself an LLC. Register with the state. You're going to look up your name, the name that you want to actually name your business. Make sure no other business has that name, or if they do, they're either far away or whatnot. Because you just don't want to have two, John Smith Handyman Services in the same town. It's not going to do you any good, because you're going to get confused with your customers. It's going to be bad no matter what. So you want to make sure that your name's somewhat unique and, it's all yours, because you also want to, at that same time, if you found your name and you've already registered it, you're going to spend a small fee to register it with your state. You're going to go online and you're going to register your name of your business with the IRS and get yourself an employee or employer identification number, EIN. You can do that almost instantaneously. You register it online, boom, you'll get it right away. That's basically your number so you can pay taxes. But also you're going to need that number so you can open checking and savings accounts under your business. It's basically your tax ID social for your business, which absolutely matters. You still obviously have your regular social security number, but it's your number for your business, which is very important. Highly recommend you guys do that right away. Next, you're going to get insurance. I can't tell you how important insurance is. You should already know. It's you're going to need insurance. I don't care where you get insurance from, like AAA. I have Next Insurance now. Super easy. Maybe not the cheapest. I'm not sponsored by Next at all, but I would highly recommend you guys look at something. It's super easy. AAA, I've had that in the past. Next Insurance, it's on an app on your, whatever. Shop around. Customers, let me tell you, customers don't really care about my license. They absolutely care about my insurance. At least $1 million policy. I have $2 million policy. But if you're working on a building or a house or something that's more than that, make sure your insurance is covered. That, because if you have if something happens, you want to make sure you're not going to be held liable for it. To a certain extent, of course. Print off your copies of your insurance. Just keep a stack of those with you, because hand them out to customers. It makes them feel warm and fuzzy. It gives you a little more, makes your business a little more legit in their eyes for sure. Because Chuck in the Truck's not going to have insurance. They're not going to have a website. All that kind of stuff we're going to get into. Next one, open a business checking and savings accounts with that EIN, and obviously with your ID and everything like that. But you're going to need to open at least one. I'd highly recommend a couple checking accounts and a savings account. You're going to want to separate funds for taxes, for certain things as well. You can talk to your CPA about what you want to do with that. This is not legal or financial advice. This is kind of what I would do. And absolutely. Open yourself a couple of checking accounts. Your personal accounts are not it. You want to keep everything separate. And that goes with also credit cards. Depends on your state, of course, and talk to your CPA or your bookkeeper, whatever you guys want to do. It depends on them. But next, after you open your checking accounts, in the same day, you got yourself a credit card that's obviously just dedicated to the business. Go online if you haven't already and buy the domain for your business. So like whatever your business name, if it's John Smith Handyman Services, buy the domain as closely resembles that. Square Space is what I use for my website, but there's plenty out there. GoDaddy. I'm not affiliated with any of those. go and buy the domain for it. And even if you don't start your website right now, you want to buy the domain so you have it there for when you want to actually build your website. Have a website. It absolutely is imperative to have a website. Just as much as the next one we're going to get into is a Google page. You're going to want to go to Google, set up a business page. That way you can be found on Google. I guarantee you guys that probably should be the first thing you do anyway. Once you find out a name and you got your EIN, you're good to go. Definitely just go to Google, create that page. It does take some time. Now, I think when I did it so long, years ago, they had to send me a snail mail like verification, something like that, to make sure I was at the address I said I was. So however they do it now, but go on there, create a Google business page. That way you can upload all your pictures and stuff, because you want customers to be able to find you. Mostly if you're in the customer service business, they're going to find you with Google. They're going to search engines, Facebook, again, Facebook, Google. Stay the hell away from Yelp. Do not pay for leads. Do not go to Home Advisor or whatever, Angie's List or anything like that. Stay away from those. But go ahead. Facebook and Google are your main two. And again, same thing. Instagram. All your socials. Definitely go ahead and create business accounts. Pages with those and post everything. You need social proof. There's no way around it. Your ideal customer is going to be on social media, whether it's Facebook, because we're old and the boomer generations and all that kind of stuff. Facebook groups are fantastic. You want to get into the local Facebook groups. So from wherever, like I'm in Metro Detroit area. So, like Detroit happenings or like the county, county Facebook posts and stuff like that. There's local groups in your area where you want to be a member of. So that way you can advertise for one, and then two, respond to people inquiring about services that they need. So you can be like, I've had so many people come, just post like, hey, looking to have this wall knocked out for load bearing and need to put a beam up there. You can just put, just real quick, just put in your socials or your Google page or your website with a phone number. Again, make sure you have a business phone number. And I'm not saying a second phone, but definitely have a separate phone number for your business, because it absolutely will make a difference in your sanity, for one. Two, your customers. And make sure you answer the phone too. Answer the phone. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Answer your phone, respond to emails and texts as soon as you can. It doesn't look desperate, because if you're not answering your phone, the customer's going to the next person down the list and they might answer their phone. So you make sure you respond as soon as you can to inquiries in your business for work, because all they're doing is calling to maybe give you money, right? So make it happen. Next, obviously, you're in business for yourself now. You already went through all this stuff. You invested your time and energy and money into banks. You get an insurance, your name, your EIN and everything. You want to tell everybody that you're in business. You already made your Facebook posts. Share that Facebook post with your personal Facebook posts and your personal Instagrams, TikToks and everything like that. Let everybody know that that you're in business for yourself, and ask them, hey, do you guys need any work or anything like that? And be careful. We'll get into that in a second. But you want to just grow and just blast everybody that let them know that, hey, you are in business for yourself. You're a small business owner now, and just throw everything out there. And absolutely, you obviously have already done some work. You have some sort of skills from whatever you're doing. You're not going cold turkey into this without any knowledge or tools or anything. So whatever pictures of whatever work you have done in the past, whether it's by weekend warrior status or whatever, post it on all your social media, all your business page, your website. If you already have it, just post it, because you need content out there. You need social proof, because you want to be able to have customers look you up and be like, oh yeah, they've done this. They obviously know how to do it. So post it out. Maybe not do everything all at one day. Maybe spread it out for a day or two or a week or so, but you want to be able to just post everything you have. All right, congratulations. So you have a business page. You are in business for yourself. You're throwing, ads, maybe, Facebook posts out there saying, hey, you do certain things, your handyman service. So next year, what you're going to do is you want to maybe find out how much to charge for certain things, right? So you should you Google it. You can always Google stuff like, hey, how much should this cost? You get a general relative idea of what it is. A lot of it's going to be trial and error. I've lost so much money especially when I was first starting out. I thought, I was going to build this nook for this customer for hiding their receivers and some other stuff behind their TV. I charged them like $250. It took me like all day and day and a half to do that work. I lost my butt. I still charged them the same fee, but it was a learning experience. So I knew, hey, next time going around, my fee is $750 for that exact same job, because I just kind of, shot in the dark. Hey, it should take me this amount of time. It took me longer, and I didn't have the correct tools for the job. So I knew what tools I needed. I went and bought some extra ones, a table saw being one of them, and some other things too. But it absolutely worked out the next time. And so I upped my fee. and then I got it done in, that $750 next time I charge somebody, I got it done in like 3.5 hours, 4 hours. So, trial and error. And I learned, when you make mistakes, you learn how to not do something. You learn how to save yourself time. You know what not to do is just as important to knowing what to do. So, because saying no and not doing something sometimes is more important, and it'll save you so much headache than actually trying to do something, because make a mistake, ruin something. Now you got an insurance claim, mad customer, bad review, all that kind of stuff. It's not worth it. It absolutely isn't worth it. Getting back into, what to charge for things. There's two ways, you can Google it, you can do trial and error, but also find your day rate. Now, day rate is super simple. I'll throw maybe you need to be able to, how many days a month are you going to work? That's, what is your business supporting? So is it supporting your entire household? Is it just supporting your hobbies? What is it supporting? So for me, for example, it needs to support the mortgage, needs to support my insurance, needs to support my truck, needs to support, trailer, all my expenses. So, depending on, we'll call it like, okay, so, say $5,000. So I have like a monthly overhead. That's what it's called, overhead of $5,000 just to be in business. That's what my business needs to support. Divide that by however many days you want to work during a 4-week month, or you can split it up, 4.5 week month, whatever you want to do. You divide that, how many days you're going to work. And then that is the amount of money that you need to make just to break even. That's not to make money. That's just to break even with your business per day. So you know exactly what that number is. We'll just call it for, poops and giggles, $300, or, we'll call it $300. That's the number. That's not what you charge. That is absolutely not what you charge. You need to triple that number. At a minimum, I'd say at least 2.5 to 3 times that number. If you're starting out, you're going to have pretty low overhead. You're not going to have too much, because you don't have too many bills yet or anything like that. So, it might be $200, it might be $150 a day or whatever. But you need to triple that number. That's what, and so if a job's going to take you all day, so you get there at 8 a.m., you're done at 5 or 6 o'clock at night with travel and all that other kind of stuff, that you need to at least charge, say if it was $300, it means $900. You need to charge at least $900 in labor plus material cost, which material costs to the customer should be your material cost plus at a minimum 20% markup. You're not a charity. You need to make money on everything when you're dealing with customers. I don't care what it is. You need to make money on everything. You're not a charity. Your business is not a charity, because your children, your kids, your wife, whatever it is, your food in your kitchen does not get there by giving discounts and being charitable. It gets there by you making profit, working hard, and being due diligent and having discipline to do a business. And it only gets there with hard work and determination. You need to be able to charge what you need to make a profit. Profit is not a bad word. Net profit is absolutely not a bad word. And you need to be able to make money. It's okay to say no to customers, and don't be afraid to mark up everything. I've told customers dead on, like, hey, my fee for this is this. I'm going to charge you for this. It is what it is. They can say no. It's a free market. They can always say no. No problem. No harm, no foul. It's capitalism, and it's great. It's absolutely great. Next one will be, as far as cost-wise, do not charge hourly. Unless you can help it. I know California is different. I think Florida, there's some places where you might need to charge hourly for laws, but charging hourly is not it's a race to the bottom, in my opinion. You don't create generational wealth for yourself and for your future offspring or your kids by working hourly. You do it by piece rate, by making your money work for yourself, by making money when you're sleeping. So working hourly, by charging hourly, not the best way of doing it. I highly recommend you not do that. Now, it's easy to go ahead and work hourly if you don't know what you're doing, because, hey, it might be working. And sometimes that might work out. Like, hey, I don't know what's going on here, but if we can do what's called time and materials for, this amount. But that's still like customers. If you're 10 hours into a job that you thought was 5 hours, customers are going to get a little snippy with you, but it could have been way worse. Now, once you know how much a job takes or what a job does, there's no reason to charge hourly, because you're going to get way more proficient at that job. You're going to be quicker. You know exactly what you need, the specialty tools and everything. So if you charge, like, okay, as an example, hanging a TV, probably the first time I ever hung a TV probably took me an hour. Probably, I can say, absolutely an hour took me to hang a TV. Okay, well, I'll charge you $40 for, I charge $40 an hour. We'll call it $50 an hour. Okay, $50 to hang a TV. back, when I started out, okay, well, I mean, I didn't lose my pants or anything like that. Okay, took me an hour, $50, Mr. Customer, hung a TV, no problem. Now, say, now that you hung that TV, how much quicker do you think you could have hung that TV the second time around? At least half the time, right? Because you already know what to expect. You already know the bracket. You know everything. But if you're charging hourly, you're only going to get paid that, say, 30 minutes versus that, that hour that other customers are willing to pay for it, right? So now you're chipping yourself out of money because you did the work sooner. You got the job done sooner. You're creating a better service because you're in and out of a customer's house quicker, and you're getting paid less. You see how that's not great business advice, right? Charge piece rate. Now, I charge obviously $150 or more to hang a TV. Now, it's absolutely, it doesn't, if it's a 40-inch TV that I can hang in 15 minutes or 10 minutes, it's still the same exact rate, or even, my job minimum of $450 to show up to a job, but we can do multiple TVs in that amount of time kind of thing. So the piece rate is where it's at, especially in the handyman and contracting field. Sometimes it makes sense to do time and material, work hourly, depending on what you guys are doing or what you might have to do, but charge piece rate because it's going to be better for you. Yes, you're going to eat some jobs, absolutely lose money on some jobs, but you're going to learn. And obviously the customers are still going to be happy because they're still going to get the job done for the amount of money you already agreed upon. It just takes away a lot of stress in the air. Next, do not be the jack of all trades, master of none. You're probably good at a few things right now. You're going to get better at a lot more. But do not try to do everything. For one, it takes a lot of tools, a lot of inventory to do everything, and you're not going to be very good at it. So you could tell, okay, yeah, no problem. I can do that screen door, for $100. If you've never done a screen door before, it's going to take you a couple hours. You're going to have it's called a learning curve for a reason, right? You're going to learn. It's going to take no problem. You'll learn it. It'll be fine. You're going to get that $100, but you could have, like, say, if you're really good at hanging TVs and you charge $75 per TV, and that same amount of time, you could have booked maybe 2 or 3 TV hangings and then made, $225, $250 with a tip or something like that in the same amount of time that you got $100 to do that one job you're not really sure of, right? So don't be the jack of all trades, master of none. Just focus on maybe a handful of jobs that you really focused on, and then branch out a little bit after that and practice on your own equipment and your own house and everything like that too, to make sure you're good at drywall, all that other painting, all that kind of stuff, cutting in good lines, all that good stuff, because you want to be able to be efficient on a job site to make that money. Learn to say no to customers. Saying no to customers is sometimes better, and it makes me feel sometimes better than saying yes to a customer. Saying no, I don't want to do that change order. No, I'm not comfortable doing that. I can't do that this time. I'm too busy. Or just turning down a work altogether because the customer just comes off the wrong way. They're too demanding. They want to do certain things their way. Just say no to customers. Do not feel that you have to say yes. You say, hey, no, that's not how we do it. And say even certain things while you're on the job site, customers are this, that, they're giving you requests. Be like, no, absolutely not. You should probably have a contract. I'll link a description in this video. I sell my contracts, you guys. They're based off general contracting and handyman. They are, it's what I use on a daily basis for my jobs, but you got to refer to them. You got to put in the work for scope of work. You got to put in estimates, CRMs, all that kind of stuff's attached to it. You will have to put in some work with these, but having a good contract and having a good scope of work to fall back on, so you can look at and see with customers, hey, this wasn't included, no problem. We can either do a change order and add it, or we can just omit it and not do it and keep on with the exact same scope of work. It just matters. And saying no to customers when they have, quite frankly, some unrealistic requests because they looked on Home and Garden TV and they thought, remodeling a house only took 45 minutes. So there's going to be that kind of thing. That barrier you're going to have to break and burst their bubble a little bit. So say no to customers. Learn to say no, but obviously you want to say yes, but saying no really, really makes you feel better and takes a lot of stress and work off your back that maybe otherwise you didn't need anyway. Learn to bring up pricing as soon as possible to a customer. It doesn't matter. Like if you have a customer coming to you, hey, I want to do this floor. I want to do this. Hey, no problem. Our job minimum for a certain, square footage for 500-600 square feet is a minimum of $1,000. Just let them know, because some people think, oh, no, I can get this done for $200. Like there's people out there, they're called tire kickers, that have no budget. They have no idea what anything costs, but they might be uneducated, but that one quick text or phone call to you where you answer because you're a good business owner, you answer your phone and you can let them know right away. You bring up money. Hey, our job minimum for something like that starts at $1,000 and it only goes up from there. And you can, shut up, let them say the next word and let them say, okay, cool, no problem. Or, oh, that's way more than I was expecting. No problem, no harm, foul. Thanks for reaching out. Click. That's all you have to do. bring up price as soon as possible with customers, because you want to break that barrier and you want to not waste your time, quite frankly, because you're busy, right? So bring up price as soon as possible. Never give exact times when you're going to some place for an estimate for whatever it is. Do not give exact time frames, 2-hour time frames. I highly recommend not even an hour, because certain things can happen, maybe even a 4-hour time frame, but 2-hour time frames is usually what I give, because things happen. And I've had customers literally like, hey, like they've texted me, like if it was, I told them between 8 and 10, and at 8:01, they're like, hey, where you at? Like I have had them do that. So obviously we didn't want to work with them anymore, but that's just a red flag also. But time frame, absolutely time frame, because you can circle back to them. And they're like, hey, you said you'd be here at 8. No, sir. I said it was between 8 and 10. So I went and grabbed some lunch, got some fuel for the truck, came over there around, I was going to be there around 8:15, but then I got there around 9. So that's how it goes. You got yourself a couple jobs under your belt. You're going. Couple things to keep in mind now that you have, you're just going off your experience and whatnot. You're going to want to get a CRM. You might want to do this, day one if you want to. Get yourself a CRM. What's a CRM? It's basically Jobber, QuickBooks, Market. Something that you can do digital invoicing, bookkeeping with. Highly recommend you guys don't just do a pad and paper for estimates. I have one subcontractor right now that I'm working with. Great guy, awesome. I love it. He's a great painter, but he's dinosaur age. Like he'll come in, write it down, everything. It's just so much more efficient. It saves you so much time. I've sold jobs before, like 5-figure jobs, not 6-figure, but 5-figure jobs. I never met the customer. They hired me on the spot. They gave me a couple pictures via text or email. I basically wrote it up. This is your general estimate. To do like a bathroom and some other like a small room with like a load bearing wall. These prices, and it comes with experience. Don't get me wrong, it comes with experience. But like I never met them. I sent them over an estimate via my Jobber, and absolutely they approved it. I collected a deposit. When I first showed up with my dump trailer to stage for us to get to work was the first time I actually met them in person. That's how it goes. You can't do that without a CRM, because you're going to need to have your ducks in a row. You want to be able to put in your information. You can even have it where it's super easy, because you already have certain line items in there that you can always put in there for inventory management and whatnot. But absolutely have a CRM. It's going to help you out. It's going to help your bookkeeping out. With bookkeeping, you can hire. You're going to want a CPA. So find yourself a CPA. You're just starting out, but yeah, this being going into January here. You're going to want a CPA, because they're going to keep track of your taxes for one. And then also a bookkeeper is going to keep track of your books. I use a job journal where I keep how much I'm actually using for a job, my budget for a job. If I'm over budget, I keep track of losses. I keep track of my fuel. I keep track of everything. I personally write it down. I'm not saying this is for you guys. I personally write it down because I remember things better when I write it down. And also it's right in front of me. I can see exactly how much I'm profiting, how much I'm losing on a job site, when I was there, job notes, all that kind of stuff too. But you can do that digitally. You can do that. There's plenty of apps out there. Jobber does it as well. Market. I'm sure QuickBooks. I am not familiar with QuickBooks Online anymore, because I dropped them for Jobber. I am sponsored by Jobber, but this is not sponsored by Jobber. I'm just saying, you guys find out. I'll leave the link in the description if you guys want to. But find yourself a CRM. It's going to help your business, and something that's basic for small businesses, which QuickBooks Online, Market, and Jobber are fantastic for. They have so many great things for small businesses, because it just helps you out. You can see what you're doing. You can schedule jobs. Even certain things with Jobber will let a customer know when you're en route, when to expect you, save you some basic calls. Hey, when's a service tech going to be out here? When are you going to be out here, Richard, for hanging that TV? It'll automatically email them saying that, hey, you're scheduled between 8:30 and 9:45, or et cetera, whatever you put in there. And that way they already have it, and you don't even need to worry about it. So certain things are worth the money. It's not cheap. It's not expensive by any means, but you're still spending money to make money. Highly recommend you guys get a CRM. With that being with CRMs, you're going to have estimates that are approved, and they're approved via a customer via digital. So they'll approve them digitally, which is obviously a scope of work, an estimate, no matter which you guys actually have it. So you have approval in writing, have a contract, if you're doing subcontracting and all that kind of stuff too, change orders, everything. Nothing gets done via phone call or just verbal authorization. Everything is in writing. Change orders are paid in full upfront. unless there's certain circumstances, but mostly always in full upfront because they're adding scope of work and more work to what you're originally there for. And you don't want customers, adding a bunch of change orders and running out of money for the actual contract amount, right? So contracts, change orders, conversation confirmations, that's when you have a change order, but basically it's no money is changing hands, no scope of work is changing, but you want to make somebody aware, your customer aware of something, and they might decline something or whatnot. Something, you just want to be able to let something in writing, letting them know that you saw something and they're aware of it, basically. And it's always in writing. They always get a copy. If a customer signs something, they get a copy of it. Period. It's in my what do you want to call it? In my state, that's the law. So if they sign something, whatever it is, they get a copy of it. Plan ahead and have inventory. That would be the next one. So if you're a handyman or if you're even a contractor, have some inventory. You can mark it up because going to Home Depot or Lowe's or Menards or wherever you guys are at 5 or 6 times a day is not efficient. So plan ahead so you know what the job entails. Cool. Buy extra stuff. If you know that you're mounting 16 TVs this week and you know you're going to need some HDMIs, buy those ahead of time and make sure you mark them up, obviously. Buy them ahead of time. That way you save yourself that trip to Home Depot, that Lowe's trip, whatever it is. That way it's just more time in your bank to do other things to make more money. So plan ahead and have inventory. I'm a king of it. I have tool trailers full of inventory because I hate going to the box store when I need that one washer, when that one gasket, that one toilet flange, just makes me so mad. So I always have that with me at all times. That way I can charge accordingly, at least 20% markup. More likely it's going to be, if it's coming off the tool trailer, it's going to be probably maybe 300% markup, if not more, depending on what it is. Because for one, customer can go get it, but they're, I'm like, hey, I don't wait for you. Like I'll charge you hourly. It's in my contract. Like, hey, if I've got to wait on you for something and that's all we're doing and I can't do anything else, guess what? You're paying for my time regardless. So either you can buy my, somewhat, higher cost toilet flange for, it costs me $5, I'm selling for 15, or you can waste time or pay me to go do it, which I'm going to charge a trip charge to go do it first off. And two, picking up that, you're spending $60 to save 10 or, whatever it is. Plan ahead, have inventory so you can make a little extra money. Buy tools when you need them, not when you want them. So I know everybody loves buying tools. You should already have some tools anyway, but if there's a tool that you have to rent, you only need it like once a month or once every couple months, just rent it. You don't need to buy it. But if you're having to rent a tool 3 or 4 or 5 times a month or even more, then buy it, because obviously you have the job, you have the workload to actually warrant you to spend that money. And I've done it where there's a job where, hey, it requires a special bit, the special tool, whatever. I'll build that into my cost and my estimate. That way, when I collect my deposit, I have the money to go buy that anyway. Boom, I have the tool. Granted, I'm using that money to buy that tool for that job, but then after that job's complete, I still have this asset of a tool that's there. And for my next job, I can still charge extra for that bit, for that auger, for whatever it is. Then I obviously already have the tool. That tool itself is making me money, as well as being able to do the work that I'm charging for in the first place. So buy the tool when you need it, not when you want to. Now, don't get me wrong, I've obviously bought tools when I want and obviously not needed, but if it's a big tool, if it's a big purchase, make sure you have the job, the workload to pay for it, and the future work to come up to pay for it. I've made decisions like that with multiple miter saws, multiple drills, etc., because I need to be two people in 2 places doing the exact same thing. Hey, it makes sense to actually have the tool. No problem. It can bite you in the butt sometimes, but if the tools need to be income producing assets, everything for your business you're buying as far as tool, they need to be income producing assets, not a detriment to your business. And that with being said, buy the best tool you can absolutely afford. If I need to, if I'm not going to go broke or put it on a credit card and, pay a bunch of interest on it or anything like that. But, if I can, maybe eat ramen for a week and get that Milwaukee Fuel as opposed to eating steak and having to buy a Ryobi, I'm going to buy the Milwaukee Fuel tool instead of buying the Ryobi, because that tool's higher quality, it's professional grade, it's going to last me a lot longer. And obviously a tool breaking because it's cheap doesn't do me any good on the job, because I got to go back to Home Depot. I got to go back somewhere to buy another tool, spend my time and money again, going back to it. Now it's already 8 o'clock at night. My wife's mad at me because I cheaped out on a tool. I don't want to do that. All right, guys, this is getting pretty long, but I want to go over a couple of key points. You need to obviously answer your phone. You need to look the part. Get yourself your truck, get some, some sort of sticker, some magnets on your truck, your van, whatever it is. Say, hey, Joe Schmo's handyman service, whatever it is you're doing. You know, I have a tool trailer. Brand your is a tool trailer is a rolling billboard. Make sure you letter it somehow, because I lettered my trailer back when I was the handyman, and that 800, I think it was $1,000 I spent on the lettering on it, because it wasn't a complete wrap. It was just stickers, pretty large ones. But the guy behind me called me, and it paid for itself within a week. It paid for itself within a week just from a guy behind me calling me, let alone the years afterwards it's been rolling around and everything. So absolutely, branding your stuff pays for itself. You got your website, you got your you have your Google page and everything. Don't be afraid to put your name and your brand out there. Yard signs work. Get yourself some business cards, because people still ask for business cards. I'd stay away from paid ads as far as Angie List and everything. Google ads and Facebook ads, they work, absolutely work. Do those, because they do work, especially if you're in a metro area like I am. You got to start your business someplace where there's people. It should be common knowledge, but make sure if you're in the middle of nowhere in Alaska or Montana, don't start your business there. You got to go where the people are at, for sure. Next would be don't smell. Make sure your hygiene. You can look like, obviously I look like, I don't look great, but at the same time, I don't smell right now, thankfully. Don't hotbox your truck for cigarettes and stuff and walk into a customer's home. I had one of my subs do that, and my customer called me right away. He's like, "Hey, it smells like a cigarette ashtray in here. Like, were they smoking in the house?" And I had to call him. He's like, "No, I'm like, don't hotbox your van and then walk right into a customer's house. That's not professional. That's absolutely not professional." And that's what I got for you guys on this one. Starting your business in 2025. Let me know if you are down in the comment section below, because it's no time like the present. Of course, we got a new president coming in, so hopefully everything turns around, because the last 4 years weren't great, but they weren't horrible either. But take all this information with a grain of salt, but it's here if you guys need it. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. We'll see you on the next video.